In the last video, I told a story about when I was a teenager and I had gone home after kind of an offhand comment by a math teacher about the way light bounces off of objects, and I set up mirrors in my house to try to move light from one end of the house to the other and see an image from clear across the house and around corners and so forth. And I remembered a comment made by a professor in my master's program when he said that one person's aha is another person's ho-hum. And for a lot of you, when you listen to that, it may not have really sparked anything or made you think much about the depth of really what that moment meant for me. So I'm going to take you through this just a little bit before I get on to today's topic of how to lower stress. In the first video, I said to stay in your game. To lower stress, stay in your game. Use your natural problem-solving approach. My natural problem-solving approach is to experiment physically. It's how I learn. It's my best learning method. So to stay in my game means to get my hands onto materials and play around with them. So 15 years ago, I took these mirrors and I set them up and aligned them so that I could move light around and try to basically spy on the other end of the house. Well, I learned some things that were not in the curriculum, and they were not things that were, that the teacher would have expected, because the teacher didn't even expect me to go into this at all. But I learned that really when you set up the mirrors, you have two angles to deal with, because it's a plane. So that was a learning moment for me. And it relates to geometry, so that's cool. It was in the ballpark. But the other thing is, with every reflection, the image got dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So where was this light going? Why was it getting darker? By the time I got to the end of the house, I couldn't see because the reflection was just black. It was just dark. And the only thing I could see is if I actually put a lamp down and had the lamp be the light from the lamp be the thing that was being passed through. Then it was bright enough that I could see it. But there was a question for me about where was this light going? Was it being scattered? Was it being absorbed by the material in the mirror? What was going on with that? The key is that this learning experience that I generated through just trying to satisfy my own curiosity happened 50 years ago, and I remember it today. I remember what I learned, and I remember what I did. The key to staying in your game is critical for learners as well as for us as teachers. Okay, let's get to today's tip. Today's tip is really not from me. It's from a book by Kolbe called Powered by Instinct. And it gives 5 rules for trusting your natural methods. And today I'm going to talk about one of those, and that's to do nothing when nothing works. And this is really about recharging your batteries. You need to take some time to take care of yourself. You can't care for your students if you're not taking care of yourself. So what we need to do is to do nothing when nothing works, especially when you're hitting that wall, when you're trying, you've been working, you're exhausted either mentally or physically, or you're trying something that isn't working for you, which is likely because you're working against your natural methods. Take a step back and do nothing. Recharge. And when I say do nothing, I'm not talking about just changing the activity to something else that requires energy. I'm talking about recharging your energy. Do something that gives you energy. Rest. Watch some stupid show on TV. For me, it's working with my hands, just piddling around and with no real goal in mind. So you don't want to be striving during this time. You want to be doing something that doesn't require you to be goal-oriented. So take a walk if you're in a place where you can. Do something that allows you the freedom to just relax and take it easy and recharge. This is really important. It's important that you are at your best, and you can only be at your best if you take some time for yourself to recharge your energy. I wish you the best in getting through this crisis. I know you will. I have total faith that everything is going to be fine. This is Brett Laux with Compassionate Education. Thank you for watching. You can like, subscribe, all that stuff. There's also, of course, I'll accept comments down below. Good day. Good day. I sound like I'm from Australia.